Hello and welcome to your award-winning The Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke every single week, normally through news and headlines ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. But this episode, I'm actually not available to record the week that this releases, and we wanted to make sure that you still had content to enjoy. And like I mentioned, this isn't going to be a news-filled episode. It's going to be different than what you're used to traditionally. And that's because this week we have two other co-hosts on here, one of which went to Japan. And if you've heard the last couple episodes, you know who that is. And the other who is joining me to ask questions and basically geek out about Japan. So there's going to be a lot of weeb talk, Pokemon talk especially, and probably some gaming stuff in there. So if you're a consumer, if you're like one of us and you have reasons you're broke, this is going to be the episode for you because you understand our spending habits. So first off, we have the one who just came back from Japan as a head judge for the Pokemon trading card game for Pokemon Worlds 2023. Welcoming back Bobby. Welcome back, Bobby.
Hello, glad to be back. Thank you for having me to go over this. This is a lot of fun.
And just as a heads up, Bobby is a little bit under the weather, so you might hear some pauses here and there, but glad you were able to make that time for us and appreciate you fighting through it. And the other one helping us this week is from Lazy Gaming, guys. You just heard him a couple of weeks back. It is Julian. Welcome on, Julian.
What am I doing here again? How did I get here?
It's because you crush on Bobby. That's why.
Shut up. No one's you can't prove that.
You were immediately like, yeah, me. I thought it was going to be Bobby, or I'm sorry, Scott, because he's super into going to Japan. But yes, if this is your very first episode of the show, once again, two normal co-hosts that we have here, two normal hosts, and one of which judged this Pokemon event. So this is going to be a very loose conversation, and Bobby going through from almost beginning to end, some highlights on his trip there, and Julian and I are going to be jumping right in with questions, hopefully questions that some of the Brokettes may have as they listen to this. So let's jump right into Bobby's Japan trip. So Bobby, kick it off for us, please. I mean, one, how did you qualify to get into Worlds, and what made you take that decision to go, I'm going to go fly over halfway around the world for this event?
So it's a process where you have to apply, and I have enough cred, quote unquote street cred with TPCI that I qualified in a certain way. You know, I applied and my application was accepted. And what I've done for the past few years, especially this year, I've done a lot of work for them this year. I've gone to multiple countries, multiple cities throughout the U.S. This season alone, 3 international competitions, being in one in London, one in Sao Paulo, Brazil, the other one in Columbus, Ohio. The only one I didn't go to was the one in Australia. Multiple regionals. I think I did 11 or 12 regionals this year. This was all throughout the U.S. So just a lot of work that I put in this year. This is my third World Championships. I went to the 2019 World Championships in Washington, D.C., and then the 2022 World Championships that were in London last year. So this year makes my third. I applied. I was accepted. And not only was I accepted, I was in the first wave of invites because I was offered a head judge position. So really unique, really humbling experience. Had a lot of thoughts going into it because of the position I was going to hold. It's just, very highly sought after position. You're essentially in charge of everything, right? Mm. And I wasn't nervous because I've done this so many times before. I just decided to wipe the slate clean and treat it like any other tournament. The best part was this format, the card format that we're in, is the same from NAIC, which was in Columbus a month ago, to here. So nothing has changed. So my stance was, as I saw other people preparing and asking me if I'm nervous, I'm like, nah, I'm just going to treat it like everything else, and it's going to be the same. literally nothing changes except for the name of the tournament, and we're counting a world champ versus just international champ. So the stakes are higher, of course, bigger spotlight. And not only that, they sent me to Japan, so that's humbling in itself. Everybody's dream is to want to work in a tournament in Japan, and the fact that they put the world championships in Japan, this is the first time it's ever been there. We're coming off the 25th anniversary, and it's birthplace, right? So it holds a very special place for a lot of people, and our staff was very large, and a lot of that staff was very humbled and excited to be able to take part in something so special. And I'm glad I was able to. It was an incredible experience, like memories that I'll have for the rest of my life.
It's crazy overwhelming, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And you walk in, and you're used to working these events, and this one just hit differently, and it felt so good. You just get this rush of emotion with the music, the production. I hope you guys got to watch it. If not, go watch the VODs. The production value was just absolutely insane. It was next level. And I've been to other worlds, and they dress the city up, right? That's it's just going to happen. They dress the city up a little bit. This was next level. Like, they didn't just dress the city up; they dressed the city up and some and more.
It was like prom night.
It was just it was everywhere. The whole city was buried in Pokemon. It was so freaking cool.
But it was a lot easier for them to move all that merchandise too. Since they'd have to travel other countries to get all that nice merchandise and fancy looks and stuff. And because I saw the opening, and it was spectacular.
Yeah, with the Taika drums.
Mm-hmm. I've never seen Pokemon go all out like this before.
The buses, the duck bus things, the one that go ground and water, the subways, the trains, everything was plastered with World Championship decals, and not just little tiny stickers. I mean, like total skin covers, and the taxis and everything, the stations. You walk in the malls, and there's like elaborate TV setups shaped in Pokeballs, like all over the mall. Like every 20 feet, you encounter another one. And it's playing the same Worlds ad with the recap ad from London of last year. It's like the excitement was real. And then, we'll touch on it later, but like when I did go to Scramble Crossing in Shibuya, and when I arrived to that intersection on cue, the fucking Worlds commercial played. Like that was another experience. Like that was so freaking cool to get to Scramble Crossing, have that commercial play on all those screens there, and then cross the legendary Scramble Crossing. It was just so cool.
It's like their Times Square, basically.
Yeah, it was insane. And I walked out there not knowing what to expect, and there were so many people out there already. So it's just a place where people gather. And then to walk up to that intersection and that ads start playing, I was like, no way.
Did you selfie it? You should have selfied.
Oh, I didn't selfie it, but I videoed walking through
nice.
it. I took a ton of pictures, but I did a video walking across the intersection the first time because I had to walk across it twice. And it's just like how you see it in the anime. It's just like how you see it in multiple movies. Like it's different people walking from different directions all at once. It's nuts.
That sounds like madness, and all those people know exactly where they're going and how to get over.
Oh yeah, it's so cool. But the tournament, it ran well. There was some complaints. It's going to happen with any tournament.
It's too crowded.
There was just too many people. Like there was a lot of people in that building. There was a lot of people attending the event. Luckily, there was events not only on the inside but on the outside. There was all sorts of events going on during those 4 days. So there was just people sucked into the area and doing different things around the area, keeping them occupied, and it was all Pokemon related.
From the pictures you were sharing, and from the pictures that the Pokemon company were sharing on Instagram and the reels, I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, they really did put out, like, my favorite display for this event specifically was those 3D cards that they put out, where it was like 4 layers or 3 layers of artwork from the cards. Yeah. And then when you saw it from different angles, you see the different pieces, you put them, if you line them up, it's the fucking card. and it was ginormous. I mean, they have them all set up, and I thought that was the neatest setup they had. Did not look cheap at all to set up, and rightfully so. They should have gone all out because these have been some of the most successful years for the Pokemon company. So rightfully so, they should roll some of that money out into a better presentation.
Yeah, and you can stand in them and you can take pictures. And then they had other displays that were just the card arts, not the 3-dimensional ones. And then they had stickers of the cards on the sidewalks and floors of the malls everywhere. They had a whole walking gallery all the way up to the venue, like 2 miles out.
Freaking Pokemon as far as the eye can see.
Yeah, there was topiaries, like there was a Beware
cool.
topiary. There was a Bulbasaur topiary. There was a whole bunch of them. There was tons of them.
Is that topiary still there? Because can you bring that back?
All that stuff's still there.
Can you bring the topiary back? He's not going to steal a whole shrubbery for you. I don't think he can get away with that.
Just do like those giant nets. You put them on the choppers like in Jurassic Park and just airlift it.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to ever see a setup in a tournament run this way ever again. I think they poured it all out for this one, and it was special. It was cool. I am glad I was part of it. I'm glad I was there. I'm glad I got to see some of that stuff outside of, the normal just being in Japan, but the Pokemon stuff in general was just next level. I've been doing this since 2015 and I haven't seen anything like it. Like, this was just absolutely insane. And you're talking going past a 20th anniversary and a 25th anniversary. And this is just after the 25th anniversary, and this is what we got. So it's just madness.
Since we're on the subject of Pokemon, obviously we want to eventually ask you about the culture of Japan and just being there. But let's get, Pokemon through and through. What were some of the things that you noticed as far as the age range of attendees to the event? And what kind of merchandise did you notice were the most popular that were exclusive to the event? Because obviously it's still very much a collector's game when it comes to Pokemon TCG. So that hype it's gotten better, but it's not yet at like pre-COVID levels. So what can you tell us about, again, the attendance and the demographic specifically, and then some of the merch that you saw?
Lots of families, lots of kids. Obviously kids are drawn to Pokemon. They're obsessed with it. Lots of teenagers and young adults, lots of couples. It's just a wide range. Everybody loves it there. It's part of their culture, and they know that, so they embrace it. And when something comes to your town like this, why not? As far as merch, it's not about the cards. It's about other things. You've got hats, backpacks. Something culturally different in Japan, and we'll talk about this more later, is it's all about pens, pencils, and stationery.
Oh, that's right. They love that stuff.
That's a big thing there. And stickers,
pens and pencils,
stickers and buttons and markers. Like that's their thing. So when you go to stores, you're going to see more of, instead of, for us, like, here's a perfect example. I'll pivot to this for just a moment. I went to Tokyo Sea for one day, and their stores there, instead of seeing the pin traders and you can buy pins, they don't really sell pins. I found 4 pins total in that whole park.
Were they at least exclusive to the place?
Not really. So what you find instead is just shops full of stationery, Post-its, and pens, markers, and that's it.
Not plushies.
And notebooks. And no, not plushies.
Wow.
Plushes. Here's a big surprise. I found multiple stores. They were big stores, by the way. I'm looking for merch, and I can't find merch. All these stores had was fucking Duffy, and not just Duffy, but Duffy and his friends.
He's
got 4 friends.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I have all the information on that. We'll get to that.
So
we'll get to that one.
These stores are packed, and these people are buying Duffy and his friends and clothes for Duffy and his friends and all the merch for it. And I'm just disgusted. And I walked out of every single one of them. I was like, I just want some pins. I just want a pin. Nope. Found another store. Nope. More Duffy and friends. And And like I said, these stores are packed. People are spending money in there. So the culture is just different there.
Did you buy a pencil and some stationery?
No, I'm good.
Oh,
so we'll get back to C later, but I just wanted to compare, like, because it's culturally different, they sell different types of things there, and that's what people are gravitate towards. So yeah, there's clothes you can buy, shirts and stuff like that, but a lot of the merchandise is catered towards, writing and taking notes. And yeah, if you go to a Pokemon Center, it's gonna be the same stuff you see at any Pokemon Center. So yeah, they'll have plushes there, but just Pokemon plushes. The Pokemon Center, specifically for us at the event, they had a new type of merch line because we're in Japan. Like, there were chopsticks, and they were catered for Worlds. They had 3 different designs. One that the competitors and staff got, and then there's 2 different versions that were sold in the stores. And then all staff and competitors received a full-sized ramen bowl that had World Championships on it. And you can also buy a ramen bowl in the store, but it was a different version. So we got specific versions as players, staff, competitors versus what was sold in the stores. So those are unique. In the store, you could also buy little stands to put your chopsticks on that were Pokemon.
Smart.
Porcelain. So one's a Tatsuguri, the other one was Sprigatito. So pretty neat little items there.
That's how you upsell.
Yep. And then they had glasses and wine glasses, all stuff like that, and a rice bowl as well. So a smaller rice bowl. And that's some of the other stuff that you can find at the regular Pokemon centers in the other cities. Is you would find, rice bowls and soup ladles and things like that, because that's culturally accepted there. That's what everybody uses. The merch line was very large this year. They expanded beyond what they usually sell. So there was a lot of specific merch that had World Championship Series for Yokohama on it, which was really, really cool. The store was huge. It was bigger. London's store was pretty big. This one was like 3 times the size of it. It was insane.
Yeah, they probably got 3 times the sales too, being that it's in the homeland.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt they made bank on it. And there's people complaining online that they didn't get things, whatever, but they were selling stuff, so they had the stock out there. Yeah, there's just a lot of resellers, obviously. So yeah, it is what it is. They're making their money.
Did they have any line of skateboards? I know they probably don't do as well over in Japan, but they were doing skateboards for a while, and I remember them being available anytime you went to a nationals judging and all that.
Yep, they did a design for Worlds. It was the Pikachu with the ramen bowl. So that was released, a Bear Walker board. Bear Walker was there. He was also signing boards. And those were another hot item. I think they were selling for $350 US, roughly. So it's a pricey item, but highly collectible.
Sure. And
there was some people that bought, several of them because they'll come back here and sell them for triple that. So.
Well, I like the demographic. The demographic that were there, were they mainly Japanese, or did you see like a national, like a mix-up because it is Worlds?
It was a mix because it's Worlds, but clearly, Japan was very, very well represented. All the locals came in, or even if they're not local and they're from across the country, people are flying in from across the country. So it was a melting pot. Because it's a competition, you had people traveling from around the world there. So.
Yeah, and also apparently right before all that happened, I think the Yu-Gi-Oh championships were happening or going to be happening afterwards. So it was good. So Japan before, and actually there's more stuff happening after Pokemon happened. So it's like a lot of people are going out there for their revenge-cations to Japan and stuff, because a lot of people still couldn't go to like just nonstop. I've seen those people who I know on YouTube and other social media is just like, I'm going to Japan, I'm going to Japan, I'm going to Japan. It's like all this stuff, and it's been just nonstop.
Yeah, Japan only opened like February of this year, so their tourism is just starting over again from pre-COVID time. So yes, that is true. They just opened up for tourism literally in February of this year, and yes, the Yu-Gi-Oh World Championships was one for the Pokemon World Championships. It was a different city. It was in Tokyo proper. Whereas Pokemon World was in Yokohama, which is literally not far from each other. So,
what a palate cleanse going from toxic Yu-Gi-Oh players to Pokemon.
My God, you said it.
Oh, they know how those Yu-Gi-Oh players are, man. when I used to manage the comic shop, or even when I worked at the Bobby's Card Shop. I mean, they are something else. They are something else. So I'm sure that city did not miss them. Take their money and go. You being at the event, Bobby, did you end up, because we covered this bit of the story earlier in the week on how there were some disqualifications happening on the video game side. And I know that's separate from you. You're just focused on the trading card game. But did that impact at all your guys' way of doing things as TCG judges, as far as like deck checking or anything like that? Did that controversy at all leak over?
No, I heard about it as it started happening, and it was a nice little surprise, a welcome surprise. This needed to be happening for a while.
Honestly,
essentially what was occurring was people were using genned Pokemon, and they're illegal. And you gotta build your team naturally. You can't use fake mons or dupe mons or gen mons.
I don't know why people still do this. We have so many more options in this game to actually use legit Pokemon without any bullshit, but people still will bring their generated garbage into into these tournaments, and it sucks. And I'm so glad that a lot more people are getting caught for this shit.
It's because it takes time, and they make meta choices too quickly. So when they make that choice, they can't spend the time to go back and make their own Pokemon. Yeah, it doesn't take that long, but still.
Seriously, it's like, you know, this was happening. You knew you were going to be part of this tournament. Just fucking make the damn thing legally. It shouldn't be that hard.
Well, there wasn't a system. Well, now there is. So everybody's aware of it. And I'm glad it exists, because it's the first one they've made for the Switch, because it didn't exist for Sword and Shield either. And this is the first time they've had this program that they can use for the Switch. So it's going to be used in Scarlet and Violet. It will be used at every tournament going forward. So they just need to watch out. That's all there is to it. And a lot of people were DQ'd. So clearly cheating is rampant. And there's going to be whining and moaning out there. But you know what? Build your team fairly, just like everybody else, like you're supposed to.
That's the risk you take.
Yeah. And if you don't want to build it legally, then gen your Pokemon and enter and see if you get caught. There you go.
Stay on the basic bitch online where you belong. You crap.
There is an argument. There is an argument out there for like one mon in particular, but that's not going to hold water, is Enamorus. And Enamorus, if you want the rolls good on Enamorus, unfortunately, there's only one way to get them. And not only is there only one way to get them, you got to play like 3/4 of the way of the game to get them in the first place. So, and from what I understand, the rolls are decided when you start your save file, not when you encounter them. So this is one reason why people were genning Enamorus, is because it's literally almost it's not impossible to get, but it's a time sink. If competitors want like super rolls, then that's what you got to do. You got to play Legends Arceus over and over and over again until you get the one that you want, or you trade it from a trustworthy friend. Which even then, people are trading gen mons, and that's how some people are getting caught.
I know with different formats, different sets for Pokemon TCG, when I used to judge, I used to notice that there were common mistakes. Did you happen to, as you were judging, did you happen to catch the same thing over and over again as you went through the rounds, or was it, I mean, there's no way they were all purely pros. I mean, mistakes are still going to happen even at the high level.
Yeah, it's always the same thing. It's extra card draws. It's just one of the most common things. And, you know, I'm dealing with kids. I was in the seniors division, so kids are going to do it more frequently just because they're in that environment. They're nervous. You know, they know there's a lot on the line. And so, some countries are harsher than others. You know, they know they're sending X amount of players to this championship with media, and it bears heavy on them. And it's not something a kid should have to deal with. It's not like the US where nobody cares, you know, oh, what's going on? Oh, right. I don't care. Sure, whatever. Well, you know, you get like Brazil and they send X amount of players over. Well, that's a big deal for them. And, you know, they talk to their players probably directly, and they send media over, and there's a lot of pressure there. So, and there was like players from Korea, like the Korean players had giant media teams swarming them at all times. Like this was a big deal for some countries.
It's like the World Cup.
And it's just, that's what they, you know, certain countries embrace things different ways for different things, and Pokemon is important to them. So
yeah, the Korean, Korea is freaking huge on esports. Freaking, they will. It's like any esport, no matter what it is, they will just like jump on it. be the ones to make sure they have some kind of competitors in it. Like it's like wild how many like this Korean person in this game and this Korean person in that game, fighting games, freaking Overwatch, whatever. It's like they will put media coverage on these people.
Yep.
It's like I'm surprised there wasn't one for the freaking. Well, no, I'm not really surprised that there wasn't one, but there was a Korean team of people who were in freaking who were in the tournament, who were in the PvP tournaments for freaking Final Fantasy. That's how much these people love their esports. It's freaking crazy.
About the 27-minute mark, and Julian just now brought up Final Fantasy.
I can't help it.
I figured it'd be sooner.
I can't help. Hey, Bobby brought up Disney before I got a chance to do that.
That's
I
true.
was expecting
that's about the time I expected him to bring up Disney, though. But I'm like, whoa, he's going a while without Final Fantasy or Kingdom of Hearts.
Whoa. No, I'm not going to I don't think Kingdom Hearts is going to really pop up. There's not a really spot for that.
I'm sure Bobby saw plenty of Kingdom of Hearts.
Yeah, we're not there yet. Just hold on to that butt cam.
Don't tell me what butt cam I hold on to.
Not even Julian can control that butt. So
it's like Jello. It moves on the tongue.
I did have another final question, at least on my end, about the judging portion. Obviously, there's people that can stream it. They can see it online, live, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. And so did you as a judge have access to, like in other sports or esports, of rewinding, if needed, a certain shuffle or a certain, sleight of hand that might happen? Or is it just a matter of try to catch it when you can? And if you don't, then it is what it is.
On the floor, no. But if you're on stream, yes, you have access to that. You have a live feed that you can rewind and scrub through if you need to. Because I was in seniors, they don't stream the seniors matches. They only stream the finals match. Masters, they stream matches all day long of their matches. So that's a little bit different. That's what I've been doing like most of this season is a lot of stream judging. So it's a lot of the tools that we have while stream judging. So I only had access to that to the final. Didn't need it. My match for finals was excellent. The two players were very well disciplined, and luckily no translations needed. The player from Brazil spoke very good English, and the player from the Netherlands spoke very good English, so did not need to work through translators on that match specifically, and they just played very well. Unfortunately, the match went very quickly. Just the kid from Brazil just had a bonkers deck. That deck is so good, and he was just hitting the nuts. The other kid was just bricking.
Well, what deck did you see was the most common for winners in many age divisions?
It moves around a lot. Like, it's not consistent because everybody's playing different things. And like for seniors, it was Colorless Lugia. Just did really well. And that deck's been around for a while. As far as the rest of the field, there was a lot of Chien Pao out there, as well as Arceus variants, Arceus Duraludon. There's a lot of Lost Box. Lost Box did not make finals. Lost Box is just made up of different Pokemon that have the Lost Zone mechanic. That's the best way to put it. And another popular deck was, I already said it, Lost Box, Arctura, Arceus. Oh, there was some Palkia decks out there too. Palkia V, Origin Palkia V. Those are another set of decks that were good. And then, of course, Mew. Mew V is still triumphant. It won the Masters division. That deck is just solid. It just constantly performs. It's been around for over a year now, and my best way to put it is you've seen it in the stores. It's called a League Battle Deck. It's Mew V Max. You can literally buy two of those, put them together, and that's your World Championship deck. And you can buy that for less than $50 and play like a world champ. So there's no other game out there, trading card game, that you can do that. So everybody that wants to say, oh, Pokemon's expensive, fuck off, put your thumb up your butt, and turn around and go back where you came from. Pokemon is a cheap game to enter, and it's also a cheap game to enter and play competitively because you can buy two of those decks for around $20 each. And if you put two of them together, you'll get the amount of cards you need to play competitively. You'll have access. That's fine. Just put them to the side. And you can play the same exact deck that the world champion won with. So
take that, Magic.
That is a thing.
Yeah.
It is real. And the price of those decks are not going to go up in price because there's oversaturation and those cards are cheap. So even if you don't buy the decks, you can single it out and buy just the singles and still spend around $50-$60. But if you buy 2 of those battle decks, again, they're battle decks, Mew V Max, just buy 2 of them, compare it to the winner's deck list, and you'll see all the cards are there. Put it together, make your deck a 60, and you're a world champ, just like that. It's pretty simple.
And if anything, they will be reprinting the decks, the World Championship decks later on. I believe it's early next year or later this year, but they'll have special printing on them. And will it have your name this year for the World Championship decks as a judge?
Yeah, those decks will be out next year. They'll be out probably early spring. And yes, I'll be in those books. I'll be in those materials just like I was for last year for London. So I think I might get more this time because I was a head judge this time around. So I might have some pictures in there. I'm not sure.
Ooh,
we'll
nice.
see. It'll be out next year. And for those of you that have the ones from London, I'll gladly sign those booklets. Like I said, I am in there. I'm credited.
And please go to CGC, Bobby, when you get a chance, because I really want to know. I'm going to
ask.
I want to stretch that rule of what is the CGC signature furthest that we can go to get that certified. So it's anyone unfamiliar. If someone worked on a comic or an art card or somehow involved in a book, let's say an editor, whatever, they sign it in front of a CGC member and a grader, and they will then put the special label on their signature series, which authenticates that signature. So I had that question of, can you take those decks and get Bobby to sign them because his name is printed in that material, and would they put a signature series label on it? I then stretched it even further. I'm like, well, can you just take a single card from that deck, because it is from the championship deck, and just have the card graded because it is a part of that deck that Bobby's name is in? I kept going, like the coin, if there's a coin, I don't think there is a coin in those championship decks, but just trying to stretch it out as much as possible just to see if CGC will honor those things. And I think they should, because they honor an editor, an inker, a colorist on a comic book, an artist on Pokemon. I don't see why they wouldn't with something like a World Championship deck that a judge is a part of.
Yep. I'm going to ask. When I get that opportunity, I'm going to ask.
And if you do, I'm going to submit one card separately from that deck just to get them all fucking graded.
Now the cards you can grade. I know that for a fact. Those are gradable.
Well, I mean, with your signature and the signature series.
That's what I'm trying to find out. Is the
that's my question.
Card.
Yeah. And then we can shuffle those CGC graded cards together and play a match. All right, great. As always, if you have any other TCG Pokemon questions, and they may pop up as we continue here, let us know on Twitter or wherever you're listening this from, and we can always pass them on to Bobby or ask him directly on our Discord channel. So when you arrived, obviously you were there in Japan, very different. Tell us in what ways or what stood out to you first as like, holy shit, this is like a whole new world, very different. I mean, some of the things I hear is very strict as far as manners and very clean over in Japan. They're very big on that, and also very easy to offend the people there, because as I kept joking on Discord, like dirty gaijin, you know what I mean?
Don't tip anybody.
You can't tip them?
No, you can't tip anybody in Japan. You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, you're right, Julian. You're not supposed to tip, so that's not a thing. You can, but you don't need to. Yeah, it's very clean. There is a lot of people. There's a lot. That's the first thing that stood out to me, is the sheer amount of people everywhere. That country is overpopulated. I was, as the plane was descending, I was looking out the window, and it's just no green. It's just concrete.
Oh,
shit.
Shit.
Buildings. It's just nothing but buildings. I was shocked. I was like, wow, this is bananas.
You got to travel a ways to see green.
And to be fair, I landed in Tokyo, so yeah, it's going to be that way. I know there's plenty of green in Japan, don't get me wrong. I did not go to those places in Japan. Japan is a very large country too. Now, fortunate for me, I've been to several other countries this past year that don't have English as their native speaking language. So I was already prepared for that. Having gone to one other harsh place where they don't speak English, which was Sao Paulo in Brazil. And yes, even though it's semi-tourism, they do not speak English there. Going to Germany was different. They teach them English there. English is a language. So because of that, it wasn't that bad. It was pretty easy to navigate. I don't even think I needed to use Google Translate there. Like the only time I used it was to decipher signs or menus. But other than that, like even when you're at the restaurant or wherever you went, they spoke English, which was pretty cool. So that one was a little bit different. But definitely having gone to Brazil last year, coming here, I was already prepared for that, I guess. And sure enough, like nobody speaking English there. And it's like one of those things where you hear somebody speak English and it's like a unicorn. You're just like, where's that person at? Where's that person at? Because you're trying to find out if it's somebody you know, or maybe you've been quiet all this time. You can't talk to anybody. Like, oh, there's somebody I can talk to, but very, very, very few, far in between.
Are you here for Pokemon 2? Get away from me.
Yeah, right. And some cultural differences, like you kind of mentioned. One, there's no trash cans.
How?
So
if street trash cans.
There is no trash cans. You can't find them. Yeah, they're not anywhere. You will specifically find them. You have to learn that there are bottle recyclers at every vending machine. Not trash cans, but bottle recycling. And then a trash can with bottle recycling and other types of recycling can be found at every convenience store. So you got your 7-Elevens, your Lawsons, and your Family Marts. Those are the three most common. There's also there's a fourth one, and I forgot the name of it. Regardless, those places will have trash can and recycle. Granted, they're very small trash can and recycle bins, but they have them. You will never find one on the road anywhere, or on the street, or on a sidewalk, or in a train station. They just don't exist.
That sounds good.
So people just carry their trash around?
Yes, but here's the other thing. It is law or ordinance. You're not supposed to walk and eat or walk and drink. You're not supposed to do that. So that's a thing.
That's a law, you said.
Yes. So why would you need a trash can if you're not supposed to be doing it anyways?
Right.
True.
That's interesting.
And you'll go to a lot of restaurants.
You're not able to take your food and walk with it at the same time. It's like you eat it there, you take that, or you bottle, or you bag that shit up and take it home.
Yeah, you can carry your groceries and your food and things you buy, but you're not supposed to be eating it. And at least that's from what I understand. So I was very careful where I ate. I ate back in my room or in very, very secluded areas.
Makes one grateful for the freedoms here.
Which is hard to find, by the way, because just people fucking everywhere there.
It's like I just want my bag of chips and peas.
Yeah, like the first time I opened a bag of chips and ate it, I was scared to eat it because you're not supposed to do that. I think the first day I was doing it, a lot of people were staring at me. I was on the street. I was like, yep, we're not doing this again. And then I had nowhere to throw the bag.
Americans.
Why did you just leave it there? Just on you're like, this is what I do at home. And you got to say that as you do it. This is what I fucking do at home. And just throw it down. Like, this ain't nature. This is all concrete. What are you talking about? I'm destroying nature.
I don't think he needs to be on TikTok as the next person who randomly came to Japan and just fuck shit up.
I kept giving you advice of like, this is my mindset, Bobby, when I kept telling you like, do this over there. I was like, what would Riggs do? Like longtime brokettes know who Riggs is. He's my friend was my friend. I haven't talked to him in a few years now, but he would do the thing that you would think of like, don't do this. He would do it not maliciously, but he would just do it and offend someone or ask a question the wrong way. And that's what I kept suggesting to Bobby, like, oh, make sure to eat chips right there, right now. Just walk with it and eat it. Chew with your mouth open. Open up that magazine, read it, and tell them I don't want to buy it and give it to them up at the counter instead of putting it back.
Just be American as all fuck.
Yes.
Like stereotypical American. Be loud. Scream and shout like, look at that. Isn't that amazing?
That's what I wanted so bad. Don't you speak English? Make sure to speak English loudly and slowly to the clerk.
Yes, it's like just say it, say whatever, just say it in English, what's slower and longer.
They'll understand.
Do you speak English?
Be like Chris Tucker in Rush Hour.
Do you understand words that are coming about?
No.
Well, you must have inadvertently offended people there. Can you think of anything you're like, aside from the chips, that you were like, oh, I probably got some dirty looks from this or whatever?
Besides existing?
Yeah, besides just being there.
Yeah. So eating on the street was the first one that I knew was a no-no. Then I couldn't find a trash can. That's when I discovered there are no trash cans. So that was a quick lesson there.
What were you trying to throw away?
The empty bag of
that same
chips.
bag? Okay.
Nah, you just fold that bitch and put it in your pocket.
Oh, I was holding that for the rest of the day. It was crazy. I got back to the hotel and that's where I threw it away. And there's no trash can in the hotel. I had to wait till I get to my room.
Shit.
The other thing I noticed is, we have our phones, and they have their phones there too. Everybody has a phone. They're on it. Well, one of the big things there is, I will say their infrastructure is so far more advanced than ours here. This I'm jealous of. Their infrastructure with trains and, transportation is insane. Like
I wish
I could have the timing, the schedule, the pricing. It is so cheap to move, and you don't need to own a car there. And I can understand why. Like all these buildings you see are all apartments. Like they're all vertical. There are so many people in that country. And then when I got to, because I left the airport, I took one train and I had to go to Yokohama Station, which was a big hub, and I had to transfer trains. My first time walking into that station and seeing just the amount of people moving in there from one direction to another was absurd. That was an experience.
Absurd.
That was an experience.
I can just imagine you're like looking around. You're like the farm girl lost in the big city. Like that Hallmark movie.
Big time. Mind you, I'm reading signs and they say them in English, but it's also in Japanese. So I got to slow down to figure out which sign because I need to get to my next connection. Because I had to buy a new ticket to get on a new train. And everybody's filtering through and you're dodging people all over the place. Everything over there is opposite. So if you're walking, you walk on the left side. If you're going on an escalator, you stay on the left side.
Huh.
And it loads to the left, not to the right. And then on top of that, when you're on the escalator or stairs, you have to stay far left because just to your immediate right, that's the quick lane if people need to rush through. So if you're going to stand still, you need to stay to the left and the right side of the escalator. Everybody's racing down.
Oh, the businessmen.
No, it's just everybody.
Oh.
Like everybody's racing to their next train. So it's not just businessmen. You got families, girls, guys, kids, adults. People shopping, doing their everyday thing. Like that's just how it is. Having to adjust that, always being on the left when walking. Because you walk on a sidewalk, you're used to walking to the right, and that's not how it is over there. It's walking to the left. Also, they drive on the left-hand side. They also have right-handed steering wheels. Everybody likes the Nissan Skylines with the right-sided steering wheel. Well, all the cars over there have a right-sided steering wheel, and they drive on the left-hand side of the road.
My brain thinks it's like you should. You know what? Another thing that you should have done wrong. You should have been like, you know what? I'm bigger than you. And just push them all out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm going to stand where I want to stand.
I'll tell you, if you miss your spot trying to get on that escalator, there's a long line of people coming from another train to get on there. So it's like you got to find your place with the pattern, the rhythm, and stick to it. Because if not, you get missed. And then you're trying to fight to get back into a quote unquote like moving line, like an ant system through everything that's there. It's so unique and it's cool. It was harsh the first time because I'm trying to learn it. I got lost on the trains throughout the week. Like you just can't read some of the signs, so that happens. But you don't have to pay again because you just jump to the other side and take the train back. Because what happens is there's multiple train lines that function on the same rail, and just because it's on that station that you're at doesn't mean it's going the same direction. It's going to fork off into something else once it leaves the station. So you just have to pay attention to what train's coming through.
Oh, that must be.
It's minute details, and Google doesn't tell you that. Like it does, but when you're looking at the electronic boards, it's all in Japanese. So you have to really try to figure it out. I didn't know this right away. So after jumping wrong trains several times, I paid more attention. Then I found out like, oh, there's multiple trains running on this one track at the station, but once it leaves the station, it goes to a different track, and that's just a different train line.
Is it considered bad manners to have your phone out? Like, let's say you had like an app that translated whatever you held your camera up to, or is that considered like bad manners?
No, everybody's got their phones out.
Cool.
Everybody's got either earbuds or headphones, but usually all Bluetooth wireless, just because it's easier. You've got people all ages, adults, elder, teen, young, all wearing earbuds or headsets. And this goes into the next a cultural thing. So when you're on the train, you're getting piled in there. You're sardines in a can.
You're getting filled
Absolutely
up if you're
silent.
Julian.
It is absolutely silent on that train.
Really?
And the reason why, well, I don't know the reason why, but they say no. The signs say no talking, and the signs say no, silence your phone, no phone use.
Huh.
Well,
So they don't want people's phones with the sound to distract because people are trying to pay attention to what stop they need to get to. That's that. The talking, I think the talking is the same thing. They don't want the those cabins filled with noise so people don't miss their stops. But I think it also has to do with the COVID thing. They don't want people in a confined space putting themselves at risk like that because they already are. So if you're talking, you're just pushing more crap into the air. I think it's a two for one. But the phones, everybody's on their phones. They're just having in so you can't hear anything. Well, that's one of the things I did wrong. My alerts were on and my sound, so my alerts kept going off for different things, and I just see people like turning their head looking. I'm like, yep, we're turning that off.
It's like the American again.
The guy Jin.
But I did have my Bluetooth headset, so then I popped one of my buds in, and I didn't have to worry about that. So yeah, that's a thing, and apparently it's a law. You can't have noises on your phone. And this led me to something else important that you guys, especially Julian, you'll both understand better. I think over here in the West, we constantly are pissed off when, especially like companies like Square Enix are aggressively going after, and now Microsoft's doing it, going aggressively after the mobile market. And we're like, why are they making mobile games? Why all these mobile games? Why are you guys doing this, right? After being there and seeing the amount of games that are being played while people are on these trains, I get it.
No, yeah, I trust me. I understand. It's
they are not at home they're not at home playing console games. They're on the move constantly, and they're on their phone playing mobile games. I saw multiple people playing games that use currency to play the game. So I get it. Now I get it. And that's why
they made the switch the way it is, because it's like we have to have this thing be mobile because our high handhelds make the most money, especially here. We have to.
And yeah, there's like there's a handful of cities in the US that have this type of infrastructure, not as delicate, but have something similar. You know, like New York, there's a lot of rail systems, right? And Philly, there's a lot of rail systems, and Boston. You know, there's select Chicago, I think. There's a couple DC that have this type of structure, but when you've got a whole country that is like it and even more diverse than any of our US cities, like, it's insane. And just the sheer amount of people. So yeah, they're going to play mobile games. They're going to have their earbuds, Bluetooth, and they're going to have mobile devices, whether it be a Switch or a phone or a tablet. Everybody's on it. And then as soon as you get on there and you look, like, you got maybe one person taking a nap, but everybody else is on their phone. They're watching videos, they're playing games, or they're just scrolling through messaging, whatever it may be that they're using.
The person taking a nap with me.
Yeah, right.
It's like the moment it gets quiet, I'm gonna be like, okay, and shut down.
So I understand the mobile push now. It clicked after being on those trains and being around those people. So mobile devices are huge for areas like that because you need something while you're on the move like that. Like, you might be traveling around for a couple of hours or less, and that keeps you occupied.
Well, I'm glad you were able to get internet. That was one thing I was worried about, is you not being able to get internet. But as soon as you got there, you were posting on our Discord pictures, updates, things about the country, and that's where I was able to have my fun. Man, I had too much fun those first 2 days. Just all the ideas on what you can do that's very different than here. Let's get into more of the fun stuff as far as like the specialty stores you saw there. I know you shared them on Discord, but I mean, for Julian especially, to ask about some of the merch that they had on there, like the already mentioned Final Fantasy. We saw some Kingdom of Hearts stuff, the Pokemon store, the Capcom store. I mean, I definitely want to ask about if there were any Darkstalkers merch, but out of, from those stores, what were your impressions of each of the specialty ones, the ones that were independently owned, let's say, that weren't specifically like Nintendo or Capcom, and just kind of the neat stuff that you saw there that we might not have as much here in the US?
There's a lot of stores that do resale. So that store, Acme?
Yeah, it's a toy store here in Central Florida. They sell used toys and comic books.
Yeah.
Used toys.
So there's a
And not those kinds of toys, Julian.
Julian.
No,
Julian immediately.
I did not
Julian
think that kind of toy.
immediately
I'm like,
went to.
it's like, yeah, I want little Terry's action figure that's been like he's been like fucking drooling on for the last 12 days. And they decided to get rid of it because the arm broke on it. I'm
You
sorry.
were thinking of the ones that take batteries.
Yeah, I'm thinking of fucking like Goodwill toys. I'm sorry.
There's a lot of stores there. They're pretty big chains and just various companies that sell reused items. So I guess they buy these items and they just resell them. And this can be not just what you think of as like action figures and statues, but they also buy like buttons and posters.
Oh,
and,
shit.
like wall scrolls and all that stuff, and they just resell it.
Stuff that I'd normally throw away if they were in collections.
Yeah, or things that you wouldn't normally see in a store and you expect to see in a Goodwill. That kind of stuff. Like they all resell it and people just rebuy it. It's crazy. And there's so much of it because you're looking at anime culture, you're looking at movie culture, you're looking at, all that stuff. And just your normal toy brands and also, your licensed materials, and they just resell it all. But that's just one makeup. You've also got the stores that are new that, sell new products. And there's a lot of statue sales there. One Piece is huge over there in Japan. I don't think it's as big here in US as it is over there.
It's growing, but it's not.
Yes, it is growing. That's what she said. But it's not as big as it is in Japan. And having been there now, I see how exciting it is for them. Like One Piece is a big brand for them. And not just One Piece in general, like anything that's Shonen Jump. Like there's multiple Shonen Jump pop-up stores that I went to. And it's all the same stuff that's just popular with them. It's the One Piece, it's Haikyuu. I can't remember the other brands that they have.
Probably
Hatsune
Jujutsu.
Miku, obviously, and Jujutsu Kaisen, and I'm missing like 2 other major properties from there, but it's just super popular to them. So you have these stores that have the new stuff, and then you have the stores that sell reused stuff, and they sell both. I did see retro gaming stores, but all that stuff's in Japanese, and I don't collect Japanese retro, so I didn't buy anything. I don't even know what to look for, actually, honestly, when it comes to Japanese, so didn't waste my time with it. I did walk into a Super Potato, but didn't stay long just because...
What is that, a Super Potato?
It's their big chain for retro games.
Okay.
So
Sounds like a place I need to go.
Yep.
Which spot would the other co-host, Scott, we know he's very quick to pull the trigger when it comes to impulse buying. What spot did you notice was like, okay, this would definitely be a good spot for him to immediately pick stuff up? And what advice would you have to someone first going to Japan? Because I'm sure it's very tempting to buy a lot on day one.
I had to buy an extra luggage. I did not anticipate doing that. That was a problem. I did have to buy an extra luggage before I left.
Was it because of the Pokemon event, or did you actually shop around those stores?
Yeah, I shopped in stores, but I specifically spent money at the different Pokemon centers, and then the World store, I spent too much money there. And they give us stuff, so I just had too much. I'm probably never gonna go back to Japan again in my life, so that's why I went ahead and spent money there. So my recommendation would be, you have to check with your bank, whatever credit card you have or debit card. Some are okay with it. Most of are universal, where you can use your card and it's, you just pay a very nominal fee. Like I think mine's are 3%. It's nothing, whatever. But you need to check with your bank or financial institution, whatever card you're going to use, debit or credit. So that's look into that first. If not, let's say your cards do charge you a lot or there's a weird fee associated with it, buy yen. But buy yen before you go. Don't do it when you get there. You're just going to pay more.
Because of the conversion, right?
Well, they're going to charge. That's not the conversion.
Oh.
They're going to charge you for a fee to use their service. So it's like you could just evade all that by doing it before you left, like I did. Like I ordered currency 2 weeks before I went. So I just contacted my bank, and you could buy however much you want, up to 10,000 or whatever. So I got 27,000 yen I brought with me, which is equivalent to about $200 USD.
From the 10,000 that you took out?
No.
You capped out, Bobby. You capped.
No.
Do you have massive credit card debt you need to be paying off?
No, he's Mr. Moneybags. He doesn't have no debt.
No. Remember, our dollar is stronger, so the stuff there is much cheaper.
Yeah, the same thing happens whenever we go on a cruise and like we hit up Mexico or any South American country. Really, it's like shit. Things are so cheap here, and I'm sure it's the same over there.
Yeah, like a beer here. If you buy a beer here, it's like what $4 to $6 roughly, depending on where you go. Well, there a beer is like $1.25.
Shit.
Wow.
And then like
Julian can get drunk off of $1.25.
You buy
shut up.
A
Shut up. I told you my tolerance has gone up.
A standard meal here in the U.S. is roughly around $12, right?
Yeah.
Well, there
you actually eat food.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like an average meal, and you spend a decent amount of money on the low to middle end is about $12, right? Well, over there you can get the same meal or equivalent for like $4.50. So there's a big difference in cost. Their dollars are so much weaker to ours. So that's how it is. I ordered, the $200 USD, which comes out to $27,000 yen. So I used that. I used that mainly for transportation. I used it at some places, but the rest I just used my card because it was easier. And I ended up only coming back with 1,000 yen. So I managed it well. I'm not going to convert it back because I'll lose money. But
a whole $10.
It's not anything I'm worried about at this point. So yeah, you want to manage that, the money that you're going to bring or spend. If you are into, stuff there, and whether it be anime or any of that stuff, then you're prepared to spend money because there's going to be plenty of stuff to buy. The access that you have to the amount of things that are there is incredible, especially when you go to special focalized areas like, you go to Akihabara, like that is the place. And yeah,
I just got out of there kicking and screaming, aren't I?
Yeah, you're going to get stuck in all those stores because there's so much to look at. There's so many different places that have so many different things. And you don't realize it. You're walking around, you got all this stuff, and you haven't done half the city yet. It's like, shit, I have too much stuff. I spent all my money. Where am I going to put all this stuff? So it's
my arms are heavy.
Right.
And you can't throw any of it away, so stuck with it for sure.
Why would you throw it away? You just put all your money on it.
Well, you open up the packaging and you're like, I just want the statue. Throw the thing away. Leave the box or the Funko, whatever. Yeah, yeah.
Put on something. No.
Just be like, I don't know any better, and then leave it there.
What? I don't know any better. I'm American. It's like, I don't think that's how that goes. I don't think you go over that.
And then the other thing you're going to want to do is you want to make sure you check with your phone provider, see what kind of service you're eligible for or that is there for your phone company. I will tell you, if you have AT&T, then you're probably in the worst scenario. Go find a different phone company right now. Just get off AT&T because they're ass. They charge daily like $20 just to have some access, and it's not even a lot. It's so expensive.
What the fuck, AT&T?
Yeah. You don't know that. You think you have this awesome service, and then when you go to travel, you figure out like your phone doesn't work for shit in any countries. So I know it doesn't work in Germany. I know it doesn't work in London, and I know it doesn't work in Japan. So that's 3 countries right there.
Damn.
AT&T doesn't function. You got to pay them more money. I have T-Mobile. I've gone to all 3. Oh, and Brazil. I've gone to Brazil and London and Germany and Japan, and I have never had to pay a dime extra for T-Mobile. It's free. It's just unlimited texting.
What I'm getting now.
Unlimited texting and internet. It's just at a reduced speed, but you get 5K for the first 500 megs or whatever.
So what you're saying is you have been sending us pictures even faster.
Oh yeah. And then after that's used up, you just go to their local 4K speed, which, okay, that's fine. I don't care. 4G, sorry, not 4K, 4G speed. So it's like, that's not a big deal. I have access to everything. I can use internet. And I think the best experience I had with internet was in Japan. I think it's because their infrastructure is so good. Like in Germany, it's different. Everything's so spread out and not as industrialized. Mm. And then in, Brazil, it's just poor. So it's just different sides of the spectrum there. But I can speak for T-Mobile. It was great. Didn't have to buy a Wi-Fi puck. A lot of people have to buy Wi-Fi pucks because I have AT&T or some other shitty service. T-Mobile did well. So make sure you look into that. See what your phone provider has for you, because you might have to buy a Wi-Fi puck at the airport when you get there, and that just dramatically changes things for you.
So I always thought that people like weebs that wanted to go to Japan that have this like fantasy of like I'm gonna go to this magical land where it's gonna be anime and video games. It sounds like though that's partially true. Like they might actually find. For me, I thought I'm like they're just gonna find that it's like a big city and it's not really filled with the stuff that they think it is. But from what you're saying, it is. So you saw, I mean, you shared pictures of the maid cafes, even stuff that you'd see normally at like an anime convention. I mean, is that true? Is it really like a weeb's wonderland?
I've got something you can fill up right here.
Got him.
It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Don't get mad. Don't get angry. Don't get angry. I'm livid. Why did he make that joke?
Because they had to. Can't let it go.
Yes, it is true. Like the rest of Japan is just, whatever. You shouldn't expect much. But I'm sorry. I didn't go to all of Japan, so I can't say that. The Tokyo area is very concrete jungle. You go outside of Tokyo, you're going to get to a lot of the wilderness and open area, less industrialized, less commercialized, more
like
soothing, like vacation-y type of resting areas. Sure, that all exists. I didn't go to any of that stuff. I had a lot of friends that did, but I didn't. I really wanted to go to see Mount Fuji. I just didn't get over there. However, if you go to, it is in Tokyo, is Akihabara. Any weeb will know what I'm talking about.
I do.
That place, the second you get off the train, is anime.
What?
You've got, it's just anime everywhere. Like there's posters. There's posters in the subway station. As soon as you emerge from the station, it's just, you get bombarded. It's everywhere. There are TV screens playing. There's anime girls' voices coming out of different things and objects. Like it is where every weeb wants to go. It is a semi-electric town. It's very busy. It's a hot tourist spot, obviously. They have a lot of stuff.
It is essentially called, the Weave pilgrimage for a reason.
Yeah. There's ads all over the buildings, ads playing for either mobile games or video games or just anime in general. It's just everywhere. It's a really unique little city. It's cool. I was glad I got to go there. Glad I got to visit it. Went into a couple of stores. It is true. There are maids all in the streets trying to get you into their maid cafes. They are very aggressive. Stay away from them.
Why stay away?
Nope. You got to pay 1K yen just to enter and sit down. And then that's not to pay for their service after. Like,
what do you mean their service after?
I don't know. You'll have to ask Scott or Julian that have been to.
Don't look at me. I don't mess with that stuff. I'm not into maid cafes.
I have not been to a maid cafe, so I can't answer that question.
I think maid cafes are kind of like
they're cheesy, right?
It's basically just, it's like, from what I've been told from someone I know, it's like unless you're into that stuff, it's just like fucking Starbucks or girl with cosplayers in it.
Yeah, that sounds kind of lame.
It's like half of the food that they make is like they don't even make the food. It's kind of like half of it's like like trash. It's like random junk. It's like random junk food or some kind of like, or like tea service, like they're like basic tea service stuff. And I'm not into that kind of thing. I don't really. It's like if I'm gonna go to a cafe, I'm gonna go to one of those themed ones where it's like freaking like themed after Monster Hunter or some shit.
Well, did you end up going to places locally to eat, or were you a little wary of that because of the different, ingredients to what? Like one of the things I always worry about is drinking the water from a different country. Did you end up going to places that were more established, or did you actually try out some of the local spots?
Oh, we went to Holes in Walls. That's the best way to get some of their food, and their food is amazing. Like I had some great bowls of ramen. No, funny enough, I did get sick off of a small chicken salad and some French fries because I was with a group that one night wanted some curry, and I don't like curry, so it was a good curry place apparently. So they had curry. The whole menu was curry, so I just chose chicken salad and fries that was not curry, and I got sick from.
That's what you.
I got sick from that. That's what I paid for.
Yeah, you went off the menu and you got sick. It's like,
but all these other places, like I got some really great bowls of ramen. I tried different things at different places, not the same thing, because what's the fun in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just amazing. And like ordering a beer for like $1.25, that's great.
Yeah,
and have it with your meal. It's pretty cool. Some places you have to go. You don't get seated and order. you have to order from a vending machine first, which is their menu system, and then it spits out little tickets, and then you sit down, and then the person collects those tickets and then brings you your food.
Interesting.
So like things are just a little bit different there. That was cool. They serve you water for free because obviously it's so freaking hot outside. So there's carafes of water. They just give you your first glass and then you can refill it on your own after that, because they have the carafes sitting out on the tables or at the bar there if it's where they cook the food and give it directly to you. And when I say bar, I don't mean bar as an alcohol bar. Just it's like a food bar. What's different? Well, obviously there's no forks. So some people suffered because there's no forks.
Can I get a fork?
Well, you can ask, but you get looks. I never asked.
How dare you not try to learn how to use
someone
chopsticks?
asked? Did someone in your group ask?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
There was people that asked for forks. I know how to use chopsticks, so I didn't care. I just used the chopsticks. Plus, why would I not try their local cuisine and use the sticks? That doesn't make any sense.
I'm learning how to. Yeah, I told myself when I ever plan to do that, I was like, okay, it's gonna be nothing but me learning how to use chopsticks until I get there.
It is not difficult. The next time you order like Chinese food or something, just use the sticks they give you. And if they don't give them to you, ask for them. Or if you're picking it up, there should be sticks there with their condiments. Pick up sticks and use them with your meal. Just start. It's not difficult. Once you learn how to hold them, you're fine. But yeah, definitely do it. It's just a different way to eat. It's fine.
Did they get forks when they asked, or just dirty looks?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So they do have forks. Okay.
Yeah, they have them.
They gave them forks, and they looked all ratty. They were rusted. It's like they had to blow the dust off of them.
I love that. That's great. And did you? You might have thought I was joking, but did you slurp the ramen? Like that's legitimately a thing. You do that, and that lets the chef know you enjoyed it.
That's correct. You want to slurp, so it's not a rude thing there. It's more complimentary, and you'll have people that slurp more than others, but some people just blatantly slurp really loud.
Did you chew the noodles?
No, you swallow the noodles.
See, because I had to argue. I don't know who I was arguing with. I don't know if it was anyone of lazy gaming guys, but it's like, what, you don't chew noodles? Like, no, you don't chew damn noodles.
Oh, I chew noodles.
You gotta, Julian, you gotta chew your food.
You don't chew noodles. You deeply inhale that shit.
I'm not used to just swallowing things whole. All right, like
maybe you should try it.
All right, when you like taking a dump with string coming out. Have fun. You ever have a cat with trying to find string out of its ass? Yeah, that's the same thing you're gonna have.
I keep string away from Chia for that exact.
Yeah, see,
because I've seen people have to like fucking pull shit out of their dogs.
Yeah,
like, no.
Yeah, but no, not Julian. He will shit out noodles as whole as they went in.
As whole as they went in.
They're just they come out with a brown curry.
Now I will like bite the end of one when it's like, okay, this is long. I can't.
I got something you can bite the end of right here.
You don't want me to bite the end of that. That's painful.
Listen, the portion sizes they're smaller. So us Americans are gluttons and we eat so much. Plates are smaller, bowls are smaller, all that stuff. So portions are smaller in general. So yeah, you're paying less, but you're also getting a decent amount of food for that small portion. So
what you're telling me is if I go to one of those barbecue places that everybody raves about where you grill your own meat, I'm going to be asking for like multiple portions of it.
Yeah, but usually it's all you can eat anyways. So.
Oh, nice. So you were pretty full then, because I know you always out eat us as far as like the amount of food when we go out. So did you have to order double portions, or did you just take advantage of the all you can eat?
Nope. I always ate what was served to me. Didn't pay extra. Didn't order extra. That's another thing. If you're gonna immerse yourself in a culture, then you need to embrace it for what it is, even if it's smaller portion sizes. And why not? Like look at the general public there. They're all skinny, small, and not obese. So why would you not
all live off only fucking rice? They don't gain a pound. I ate nothing but rice and I gained like 5 pounds.
So yeah, I ate less. It was fine. Not a big deal.
Was there anything that you ate that you first looked at and said, I can't even begin to think about trying this, but I'm going to do it anyway since I'm here?
Yeah, there was a couple things. Like you look at the menu and there's just nothing that stands out to me. So I just picked the closest thing, and sure enough, it tasted fine.
Did anybody think about having freaking what's it called? Frickin' blowfish.
No.
Like in The Simpsons.
Yes, it's like you can't. It's like you eat blowfish. It's like a survival thing. You can't eat it because it's poison. It'll kill you.
Well, awesome, Bobby. We're at about an hour 15. I will have something to ask you right after the end jingle, but Julian, I want to give you the opportunity. Did you want to ask him anything as far as like the Capcom store or the Final Fantasy things?
Okay,
like
we're gonna.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Outside of the, Final Fantasy Cap, I have actually known everything about this already because I had a friend who just got back from Japan like 2 weeks ago, who told me everything about that place, and just seeing your pictures was just nostalgia from hearing about his trip. But okay, let's get to the meat and potatoes. You're gonna tell me about how great Disney Sea was right now.
Disney Sea's cool. It's a very small park though. Obviously, it's built on the ocean.
Yeah, they're expanding it though soon.
Yeah, there's some space for them to expand. There's like 4 corners that are just walking areas, so I can see how they could expand there too. But when you go to the one area of the park where Nemo is, like, there's those little like water things that you ride that are controlled. You just takes you through different things in the water. You literally look out past that and you see these giant breaker walls into the ocean. Like, it's so cool. Like, it literally sits on the ocean. So when you watch that documentary, like, it is built on the ocean. It's just unique. And you don't know that until you get to that part of the park. You look out and you're like, oh shit, there's the ocean. I didn't go on any rides that we have already.
Oh, good.
So I skipped all the rides that we have access to. I don't care how different they are or similar. So like Nemo, I skipped because I figured it was the same and it was a long line. I did make sure that I hit up all the rides that are unique to that park that are nowhere else. That Sinbad ride is so freaking cool. And it's essentially what Small World is, but instead of a bunch of dolls yelling Small World over and over again, it's Sinbad going through a storybook.
I watched the freaking Disney Parks documentary thing, and it's like, oh god, this place sounds so amazing.
But it's literally what Small World is. So if they're going to change out, I hope they do this. If they change out Small World and these purists just get over it, they take It's a Small World in Walt Disney World and swap it out to Sinbad, it'd be a perfect fit. Like, it's the same thing.
Got your perfect fit right here.
Anyway,
too small apparently.
Oh.
I think that's really cool. They could do that. The purists just need to get over it. The Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull was pretty cool. It was neat. It does have the rolling ball in there near the end from the Temple of Doom. That was weird, even though it's called Crystal Skull. So I'm wondering if that used to be something else and they kind of retrofitted it.
Yeah, I think it used to be something else, and they retrofitted the crystal the thing into it because it's like, hey, the difference between over here and Tokyo Disney Sea is that the people who like it's like owned by some other company out there. They're the ones who make all the decisions, and they're gonna be like, we want this,
and they don't have full Disney access.
We want
either.
this. Disney will pay you to give us this. They're like, okay,
that's right. Yeah,
and they're not held back by bullshit things like constantly having brand name recognition.
Yeah. They also don't have access to all the characters either, I noticed. That ride in particular uses Harrison Ford's likeness, but he speaks Japanese. It's so funny. It was so funny seeing Harrison Ford with a deep Japanese voice.
Oh god, that's hilarious.
So that got me. As soon as the voice started coming out, I was like, I didn't know what to expect. Like, are they gonna actually put this in English because it looks like him? Nope, it's just the guy with a deep Japanese voice. I'm like, oh no,
that's amazing. My only other question is: so like the Sea of Duffy stuff, is it just as bad as you said it was earlier?
It's everywhere.
It's because I know that Duffy is like, I watched like a YouTube video about it, and it's like apparently we in America missed out because the Japanese fucking love this shit out of Duffy to the point where they got like a whole like freaking like Disney Fab 5 style lore with them out there.
Yep,
it's fucking wild,
all over the place. So you've got, hold on, let me tell you the characters. You've got Lena Bell, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a little cat fox thing. Then you've got Stella Lou, which is a rabbit. And then you've got Duffy the bear. And then you've got Olumel, which is a turtle. And that's Stella Lou again. I think that's all of them.
Yeah, because Duffy has his own Mickey Mouse equivalent too. I know that exists. And then like apparently there's like one for all the lands out there or something. It's like a dog and a cat and and the turtle was apparently something that they came with for the Hawaii freaking chunk of Disney they got out there. And then that made all Japanese people go out there because like we got to get the plushie for that fucker. Yeah. And also, were there any interesting characters that you saw out there?
No, just the only characters I saw were Mickey, Minnie,
Max from Goofy,
Donald, Chip, and Dale. Those are the characters they promote there so much.
And then there was that Max one you saw.
I don't know if that was Goofy or Max, but it looked like
it was Max. It's too the shape it is. It's because I saw it's the same base from Max that they use at that they use in some of the California stuff that I've seen. It's just he has that different outfit on, and I'm surprised you didn't see any Duffy suits running around.
I'm sure they were running around. They were just on the opposite side, or I'm not paying attention to them.
Or you were paying attention to it because you don't like Duffy. You don't like Duffy.
I did go on Journey to the Center of the Earth. That was an interesting ride. And what was another one? Yeah, but it's not on rails. It's like moved around on a stick. I'm trying to remember another ride that has that.
Like a solo, like a single rail, or is it like
a stick in the middle, like Nemo? It just moves faster, obviously.
Oh, so what you're saying? So it's like so it's suspended, but it's like on a
no,
like pod's on a stick.
It's not suspended. It's being pulled with like stick.
Oh,
it's just weird.
Wow, huh?
It has like variable speeds, and it has like this weird drop thing, but it's not a drop, and then it's all in the dark. Whatever. The queue is cool though. I did go on 40,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and that was excellent. That's really well done.
Is that like a big thrill ride, or is it like a?
It's not a thrill ride. It's exploratory, but they use some quote unquote Disney magic, and it's I gotta say that one's impressive. It's different than what the one in Orlando was back in the day. Because I went on that, but I was a child. I can't remember it.
Yeah, I was apparently too small for it. My sister never liked it because she said it's too cramped.
Yeah, it is a small capsule you have to get into, but the way that it's designed and presented, I'm not going to spoil it, is really, really cool. So I made sure I went on that. And then there's a Magic Lamp Theater that has the genie from Aladdin in it. It's like a little show, 3D. That was cool. It was funny. I think there was one more ride. Oh, there was a small roller coaster. It did a small loop-de-loop, which was interesting to me because they let you bring your bag on there and everything. And it did a small loop-de-loop.
Well, actually, now that I think about it, they do let you take your bag onto California Street. I'm sorry, the credit coaster. So, because there's like a little, it's like it has the compartment actually has like this little like strap that fucking straps it down, and you have to put your bag all the way into it. This is also me knowing this from secondhand from what my sister told me when she went out there. So it's like it's not uncommon for like one loop. It's not like it's constantly upside down or something.
No, just one small loop. I will say one thing: they are very efficient at loading and unloading ride vehicles there.
Yeah, because the Japanese have a queue on people in the States who just go like when there's a line, they all just stand around their phones and play they stand around in a circle and play group phone games. It's like, move your asses and get it so we can get through the line, people.
Yeah, everybody pays attention, they follow the rules, they load it, unload quickly. Good. And they're just very efficient at it over there. So lines move quick because of that.
I need it. It's like that's how you queue.
I didn't want to, I didn't care to, but the group I was with when I got there, they wanted to go on Tower of Terror. So I went on that. It is different, much different than the US. It's not about the Twilight Zone. It's about this guy that's a explorer.
Oh, one of the Disney Imagineer explorer thingy, yada yada, the Skipper Canteen thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So he gets in the elevator, and then a spirit takes over his soul and takes all his riches. And that's the ride. It's also very, very tame. It doesn't throw you around like the one here does. So it only has like 2 drops. It's much, much different. So tame. After riding it, I was like, yeah, that sucked. Because
I'm not a big fan of the sensation of falling, so I don't know if I'm gonna do that one.
It's so tame over there, so just ride it. Might as well. Because the one here is rougher. Might as well.
Yeah, because I've been on the one here once.
I did not go on Toy Story Mania because we have it here. That whole area there in the center with Journey to the Center of the Earth and 40,000 Leagues Under the Sea, that water area, that's a really neat, unique area that they carved out and presented.
And it's original with not a lot of IP bullshit in it.
Yeah, it's very well designed. It just looks really, really cool. And
oh my gosh,
very good to just look at and take pictures, and it fits the area very well.
Yeah, I'd be one of those people who would literally go to Tokyo Disneyland, Disney Sea, go to Universal Studios Japan, and then leave. I would be one of those people.
Yeah,
I'm not going to admit it.
Like you and Bobby and Scott, I'm like, they're definitely going to Disney when they're there.
And I wasn't.
I didn't want to his Akihabara trip. I'll be at Universal Studios.
And I didn't want to go there because I didn't want to go there for that. But it was so cheap, and a group kind of got me to go because they were going.
Movie theater thing again.
And then it was cheap, so the ticket was only like $60 USD. So it's like at the end of the day, it's whatever. Fine, I'll check out these rides.
$16 to get in.
Yeah, it's so cheap.
And now and Disney, they're complaining about how it's like, our attendance is dropping. I wonder why. Maybe because it's stupid expensive to get in, assholes.
Yeah, the parks are a mess. Yeah, they really are. But hopefully next year they'll get better when they're removing some of the restrictions here in Florida, at least on reserving your spot for some of those things.
Hell no. See. They need to keep that shit there forever.
Oh no, they're going to keep it. They're just going to. They're only going to be lax.
They're removing. Yeah, they're lightening up on it.
They can say that all they want. It's not going to change anything. They're still.
I think it's going to stay that after 2 p.m. you can come in and do whatever you want, but before 2 p.m. you got to have a reservation, bitch.
They're just going to remove the verbiage there, but they're going to
change it around. But everyone's going to realize it's the same damn thing.
That's right, because they still don't have employees that want to work. So it's still going to be the same problem.
It's like how they change like with the lightning lane thing. It's like, it's like, no, you just change the verbiage. It's the same damn thing.
Anyhow, Akihabara was cool. I went to 2 different places in there that were really cool. I did go to the Square Enix Cafe and eat.
Oh, nice. How was
the drinks were really cool. They're themed. The food was really good.
Oh, that's good.
I was impressed with the food quality.
Sometimes if it's gimmicky, like we have a place in the area called Super Saiyan, and the whole gimmick is that it's Dragon Ball Z theme, but the one time Kelly and I went, I'm like, this is shitty.
Yeah, it was shitty. I went there too. It was garbage.
That went there told me the same damn thing.
It's trash.
It is. Well, I'm glad that the themed one there in Japan at least wasn't trash.
The Square Enix Cafe was featuring Final Fantasy 16, so that was the theme that was going on in there, and the food and the drinks. It was fine. I enjoyed it.
It'll be 14 themed next during their fan fest.
Every time you ordered a drink, they gave you a new coaster. All the coasters were different characters of 16, so I got a couple of those.
Nice.
They had a decent sized store. I bought some merch there, and it was just themed pretty cool. I haven't played 16 yet, so most of it was foreign to me. I left there, did some shopping, went to a bunch of different places, and then I had an appointment for a reservation for the Final Fantasy 14 Eorza Cafe.
Yes.
So I went to that one. That one is also in the same building as the Monster Hunter Cafe and the Dragon Quest Cafe. So I walked into all 3 of them, obviously eating at one of them. The Monster Hunter Cafe was really interesting. I took a ton of pictures. I haven't shared those yet. I'll share those later. The Dragon Quest Cafe was whatever. I don't play that game either, but it was like more of a tavern bar setup.
That's a religion out there,
Yeah, apparently. The Eorza Cafe was really, really cool. Very well themed. I took a decent amount of pictures. They had a lot of drinks because they had a drink for each job class in the game. There's a lot of food choices actually. I tried a few of them, and when our appointment started, they sat everybody down, closed the door, and an announcer started. This is all in Japanese, and it's like they started our journey. Right, our party had come together. Well, they also did the sound cues. Julian, they made the sound cue for when your party cues for like Duty Finder.
Oh my god.
The ching, that thing. So that goes off, and then he starts talking, and he's like, "Are you ready to embark? Please let us know if you're ready to embark." So everybody's like chanting. And then he's like, "Okay, from here, we're going to go first place. We're going to go to, I forgot the name of it, the city where the lottery thing is.
Gold Saucer.
Yeah, so we went to the Gold Saucer. So they start playing Gold Saucer music, and then they do a cactot lottery, and your lottery number is your table number. So,
oh my god,
I won the cacti lottery, so my table won. So we got this giant fucking cake with bread with all this ice cream on top of it. I sent the picture, but I'll send a picture more recently now so you can look at it. It was so cool. So it replicated a theme in the game from the Gold Saucer. Anyways, really, really cool. And then they talked some more, and they talked about, depending on what journey you want to do, what class you choose, and that themes in with the drinks and then the food. And it was just really cool how it's themed. Some people had said the food wasn't that good. I beg to differ. I think the food was fine. Wasn't bad at all. I thought the theming was really good. The engagement was really good. They play music throughout all the different games and expansions and play videos throughout the whole time. Really, really, really cool experience. So if you play the game, definitely make an appointment for the Eorza Cafe. And if you like Square Enix, make an appointment for the Square Enix Cafe.
Oh, okay. On the list.
Yeah, you'll be there for sure. The last question I have,
definitely worth it.
As far as like the personal, with the Capcom store, did they have any Darkstalkers or Phoenix Wright stuff?
Yep, they had all that.
They had Darkstalkers?
They were featuring Monster Hunter and Street Fighter. That was
it more than just Morrigan stuff with the Darkstalker stuff?
There was a whole bunch of characters, but I don't play or read Darkstalkers, so I can't really elaborate further.
Well, it was more than just the hot vampire woman.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, good.
Probably had the cat lady, Felicia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know who Felicia is. I saw Felicia. Yeah, Monster Hunter is pretty popular there, so they had a picture set up, or a prop thing set up where you can take a picture for Monster Hunter. And then they had Ryu and Ken
kissing,
and then Resident Evil stuff too.
Oh boy.
Because obviously the Resident Evil movie started in Japan, so which leads to my last place that I went. I did go to Shibuya, and in Shibuya you have the Scramble Crossing, which if you should both be familiar with. It's been in if you watch Resident Evil, it's where Patient Zero was in the intersection.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the intersection from Fast and Furious 3 Tokyo Drift, where they drifted through that entire intersection. It's been in multiple anime and manga and many other different shows and movies, most notably the ones that I just mentioned. So having to walk across that intersection is cool. It was on my bucket list. I got to do it. It's very, very interesting, unique experience. And if you go there, you should do that. Just go there to walk across the intersection. I did go there to go to a Pokemon Center as well, and that's where I found, when I got there, in the same building and floor, it was Pokemon Center, Nintendo store, Capcom store, and Shonen Jump store, all right next to each other.
That's awesome.
So
perfect.
That was cool.
You can hit all those up.
Yeah, and there was another day where I went to, it's called Skytree. It's this huge freaking monument thing in the sky, and you can go up it. You could stop at 350 meters. That's the first observation point. And then you can pay to go up to the 450 meters, which is the highest. And you can see a 360 view of the city in all different directions. So that was really, really cool.
It sounds interesting, but also I'd be terrified to shit.
It was cheap. It was like $12 to do that. So I just went ahead and did it. You can eat and drink up in the top. So I did that. It was a unique experience. Nice little touristy thing to do. And they have, when you're at the 450 spot, there's a spot with a glass floor you can look down in. So that was neat too.
That's fucking scary. I'm not a heights guy.
I don't do heights.
There was a Pokemon Center there. There was a mall. I also found the Kirby Cafe there.
Nice.
That's another thing. There's malls everywhere.
That's
and they're all
Shibuya is like real like fashion centric area.
Well, this was Skytree, so it was a different city.
Skytree. Different city? Oh, cool.
Yeah, all the cities are like that. Everything's vertical. So your malls, instead of like what we're used to here, these long flat malls, like everything is vertical. So you're constantly going up escalators to get to different floors, to go to different portions of their malls that stretch only so far because you have to go to different floors to get to different things. And there, like I said, there's just malls everywhere. And a lot of that has to do with just being so heavily populated. So that's why. Let's see, that was that. I did go to Ginza City for an evening. That's a really ritzy, rich area. I did that specifically to go to a steakhouse. So I went to a real Kobe steakhouse, but we're used to Kobe here with all the theatrics. They don't do the theatrics there. You just get actual real.
Yeah.
No, hell no. You just
No,
get
they just
real.
throw a piece of steak on a plate and then there you go.
Well, they cook it for you, but they show you the meats and they have it divided up and they show you where it came from on the cow, and then they educate you on the meat and they cook them one at a time so you get to experience them differently, and it's all different. Like it's the texture's different, and it just makes sense.
Oh,
So
amazing.
I actually had grade 5 Kobe steak. It was cool.
They didn't put like that sauce on there and then go, oh, Coca-Cola or anything like that. No, they don't throw the food up in the air and catch it in the chef hat.
Also, their restaurants are very small. So like the one that I went to only had 2 grills in it, and that's just there's no space. So that's why you have more restaurants and they're all smaller.
Man, that would have been another thing. Like, come on, man, do the spinning finger trick with the thing and do the choo-choo train with the onions.
Yeah, it's U.S. fake theatrics.
It's like, that's what I paid for.
This isn't like hibachi at all.
This is very boring. It's like medieval times. Half the thing is the show.
I did go to the ramen museum. Why am I forgetting Cup of Noodle. I went to the Cup of Noodle museum. That was pretty cool. $10 to do the
I
tour.
hear the museums will let you take pictures of them.
Yeah, you can take pictures in there, and then
It's just the museum I'm thinking of.
on the top floor there was a restaurant with the different cultures and get different cup of noodles from different regions. That was really cool. It was themed really well too. So I ate lunch there, and I went back down and I went to the gift shop. The gift shop didn't have anything that said Cup of Noodle Museum, so I didn't buy anything. It was just a bunch of tchotchkes. It was weird. I didn't want to you can design your own cup of noodles. I didn't want to do that either, so I skipped that part. I was supposed to go to the Gundam factory right after that, but it started pouring rain, so I didn't get to go over to the Gundam factory. I got some good pictures of it because I went past it like twice, but I didn't get to go in because, like I said, the one time I was actually supposed to go there, it just was pouring rain, so I gave up.
Should have asked someone, do you guys sell ponchos?
No, but there's umbrellas everywhere. So like they're like communal umbrellas. You just take an umbrella from a thing, and then when you're done with it, you drop it in the next thing so somebody else has to use it. So
wow.
That is a
fucking
thing there.
insane.
Yeah, because you have to move around outside to go from one place to another, by taking trains.
Can trust anybody around here. Can trust anybody in this country doing that. They'd suddenly see a homeless person surrounded by umbrellas.
And then you go to the convenience stores in the malls, and there's racks for you to put your umbrellas.
So are there any? Did you spot any homeless?
I did in very specific areas. I saw some in Shibuya outside of the intersection area, but a little further away because I did have to walk a little bit to get to the Pokemon Center. And I did see a few in Akihabara. And they were just really
polite,
doing their own thing. They were talking to themselves and doing things that people do here. So awkward things.
Like when Julian was talking about that one guy that just was holding his dick.
Oh, fucking! That was just that shit in Austin is wild. Those people are like fucking baked by the sun or something. It's like I don't know what's going on. It's like I don't even have that here in San Antonio.
I love when you said that because you're like he wasn't even doing anything with it. He was just holding it.
It's like he's just sitting there baking in the sun with it in his hand. It's like he's not. It's like this man is clearly not okay.
So back to Akihabara, the maids out on the streets begging you to come in. They are very aggressive. So beware of that if you go. Yeah, unfortunately.
Were you enticed at all? Like, did you feel forced to go?
No, hell no.
No.
It's just not my thing. I don't care for any of that stuff.
No,
I don't want to know.
No, what they saw was, oh look, someone
target.
who foreign person. You're in Akihabara. You want Maid Cafe because you're here for this. It's
exactly.
It's like it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun having. It's like I'm gonna be like walking, and then suddenly I'm gonna see Scott disappear, and it's like, where did he go? And it's like, oh, I think that maid took him. It's like, no, let's go. Say no, let's go. No, you don't have to say yes. You just shake your head, push the bitch away. Let's go. We don't have time for this. I don't know. They need to have a dude standing outside and muscle up.
Giving me recommendations to go into ones. I'm like, nope. Not doing it. You can do that when you get here. I'm not doing it.
Also, speaking of I got to go back to Capcom thing one time. What Zangief things did you see? Did you see any Zangief stuff?
Oh, God.
Shush you.
Yes,
Yay.
there were Zangief stuff.
Yay, Zangief. Okay,
also, there was that. I sent some pictures. It was like this blue bear. They were trying to mimic Sonic. Do you know anything about that? That stuff that I sent?
I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank on that picture because I do remember seeing it, but I can't. But I think it's a reference because Capcom loves to make references, especially amongst its own freaking fan base, and I can't remember what the hell that was. It's like I would think I thought because I was at work at the time when you sent it. So
there it is. It's Rock Ham, so it's like a hamster. It's mimicking Rockman, which is a Mega Man.
Oh, Mega Man! It's a Mega Man mimic. It's a Mega Man.
So like it's a Mega Man hamster they call Rock Ham.
Yeah, I don't know shit about that. That's like some deep fanboy lore that's beyond me.
They had a whole bunch of merch for it.
Yeah, I don't look at me. Freaking, there's like it's like they have like weird references out there that people that they get, but I'm never gonna get it because it's like something from like some kind of manga or some kind of small or like a mobile game thing that I don't understand because I don't consume everything Capcom related anymore as much as I used to because I have like other interests now.
Oh, and then I did go to an art exhibit for it had 2 different animes, but I only attended one of them. I forgot the name. It's something licorice.
Oh, that's the one that you were asking Scott about?
Yeah. There it is. Licorice Recoil.
Okay, I thought this was like a These Nuts joke. That's why I was like, I'm not going to fucking...
Licorice.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it.
It's Licorice Recoil or Licorice Recoil. So I went to an anime art exhibit for that. That was pretty cool. I had an appointment for that. And then the other one was some type of detective Japanese anime that I know Scott's familiar with. I just can't remember the name of it.
Small boy, huge glasses?
I don't know. What's the name of it?
Detective Conan?
No, it's not that.
Okay,
Professor
so
Layton?
it's like
no, not Layton.
Probably would know that.
Oh, it's there it is. Spy Family.
Oh, Spy Family. Yeah, the one with the little girl with the freaking like little girl there was that's over for a while.
Yeah, so that was the other. I didn't go in Spy Family. I just went into the Licorice Recoil. So that was cool too. It was pretty boring, but I guess that's what that culture is attracted to or excited about. Whatever. I don't know.
Culture.
Well, it's just because it's like oh look the it's like they marketed the little girl doing cute little girl gremlin things, and everybody jumped on it, and they're like, okay, so we got to make this a thing now.
Bobby, this has been awesome. A good trip through your journey to Japan. And like I said, I will have a question to ask you right after the end jingle, but any last parting thoughts about your trip to Japan and then where they can find you if they want to ask you more questions?
You can find me in the Discord. It's probably the best place to find me. I'm on X, but it doesn't matter. So it'll be linked somewhere, but nobody uses that stuff anymore. Let's be honest, social media is dead. So you're listening to this and I'm on Discord. Hit me there. The trip was amazing. I'm humbled that I was selected to go do this because I guess the most important part I didn't share is it was all paid for me to go there. So that was a nice little reward for working hard all year. So not only did I get to be a part of and staff and be the head judge for a world championship for the Pokemon TCG, I did get to travel there for free. So they picked up my room for a week and obviously got to go to the event and staff it. The only thing I paid for outside of that was, the couple days that I was there early and for the room there, which was super cheap.
So just to let everybody know, anybody who's bought a TCG or bought anything Pokemon games or merch related, you help pay for this trip for him. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's right. You're welcome.
That is me included. You're welcome.
Also, the hotel rooms are tiny, so don't expect U.S. culture when you go there when it comes to hotels because you'll get there and your room's the size of your bathroom.
Nah, you got to pay. You got to pay premium. You got to pay like premium hotel prices to get a decent size. To get a hotel room that looks like that's like a decent size, like half suite.
Yeah, space is a premium there. So it wasn't annoying because it was just me. But if you got multiple people in there, I could see very easily how that's a problem. Like you literally can't even fold out your luggage anywhere. So
wow.
Are you sure it was like really tiny and it wasn't like that situation like in King of the Hill where there was like a whole sliding door and there was another open room that you missed the entire time?
No, it's literally imagine your kitchen with a full bed in it and a desk and a bathroom and it's the size of your closet. Like there's just no space, but it's fine. You didn't spend any time in it. You just sleep there and you go wander the city afterwards. So it doesn't bother me too much. If you're trying to save money and pile people into a room, oh, that's a problem. You're not going to like that.
Yeah, I already knew that we're not doing
If you got the person that says, oh, I'll sleep on the floor, good luck, because there's barely enough room on the floor to do that. So
yeah, I'm already going to go ahead and just say this right now. And, I know he's not going to hear this, but I'm going to tell you, Scott, we're not doing that. We're not saving money. If we save money, we're sleeping in separate rooms, and I'll make sure I have keys for all of them to make sure you and anybody else who comes with us gets the fuck up.
Very good. And Julian, please let them know where they can find more of you, Lazy Gaming Guys, and as far as social media, where they can tag you.
Yes, you can find us on youtube.com/lazygamingguys, and you can find us on x.com, Twitter, at Lazy Gaming Guys, and you can find me at Kage0, also on the same stupid hellscape. And we also have a link to our own Discord, which is basically just a place of meme fodder and random nonsense, and also where we announce our streams on our YouTube channel. Other than that, that is the only place you can find us, and me, mostly me, because I'm the best one. I'm the best one. I'm always the better one. There, anybody else can say whatever they want, and I'm the star.
Very good. And there will be links to everywhere you can find Bobby and Julian in the description of today's episode. If you did enjoy today's episode, whether you're into Pokemon TCG or Japanese culture in general, and you've got that friend that might also be into the Pokemon trading card game or into anime or has always wondered about Japan, let them know about this episode. Telling a friend is the most effective way to grow a podcast. So we would really appreciate you taking those 2 minutes and just tell your closest friend about the Reasons I'm Broke podcast. But thank you so much for joining us this week. I've been Daniel, joined by Julian, and joined by Bobby, and Brocat Core. All will be well. All right, Bobby, so what are the things that you saw while you were there? The one thing for each Julian and I that you're like, oh, if these guys were here, they would absolutely be buying these things. They'd be broke because of this. Not necessarily something expensive, but the one thing that you're like, oh, they'd buy this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can go to any of the stores in some of those towns and just go broke. It's too easy. Like, I walked into several locations and I'm like, well, Scott's not leaving this store. And then I found, there was another store I found, and I kept sending him to Scott. I should have just sent him directly to you, Julian, but it was nothing but Super Sentai. See? The gas.
Oh my god!
It was. It was.
I need you to send me these pictures directly after we're done with this.
It was nothing but Super Sentai. I sent all the pictures. Like, go through the VIP. They're all in there.
I will go to the VIP again, and I will, because I am a massive Super Sentai fan.
There was so much Super Sentai, and even Scott kept saying that. He's like, I can't believe how much Super Sentai you're finding. I was like, no, I'm not finding it. It's there. It's just that's all they have.
It's literally going from here in this country to like barely to the little trickle of Power Ranger stuff they hand you to literally the Mecca of nothing but Super Sentai things.
That's the equivalent. So what you see here in Power Rangers, which is like everything's Power Rangers, well, everything is not Power Rangers there, it's Super Sentai. So it's just, there's so much of it.
There's so much merchandise that literally that they don't even bring over to this country if it has a Power Ranger equivalent that we never see, and it's disgusting.
And then Daniel, you just with the food, you would try all the damn foods. There's so much to select and choose from. There's food everywhere.
There's so many vegan options out in Japan. It's crazy. I've heard.
Yes, and there's just so many different options. It's like you'll try to plan it out, and there's just not enough time to eat that many meals. So you just have to try to consolidate them and figure out that. And then along with toys, like Pokemon's so popular there, it's too easy to find the characters that you want.
Tons of Bulbasaur.
Plush or toys. You know, you can find Gengar, Chandelure, and Bulbasaur, and Venusaur, and all that stuff pretty easily. Like, the Pokemon stuff is just so accessible there compared to here in the US. Like, every store has Pokemon stuff.
So what you're telling me is that if they went to the family, it'd be nothing but Bulbasaur and Pikachu merch they'd be bringing back in droves.
That's right. Yeah, a little side of Dark
everywhere. It's so easy to find. and it's not an issue. Oh, also one thing, I know Sam likes to make a lot of jokes about this. Bowing is appropriate there, and you guys were joking. Like, I started bowing because they're bowing to me, so I bowed back. Like,
I mean,
bowing is they just bow their nod. It's more of a nod, if anything. But then you have people that do bow a little further, and then it's just how it is. And they're like, arigato, arigato, arigato gozaimasu, and then you just say it back. You say arigato gozaimasu.
So what you're saying is,
gozaimasu.
so what you're saying is, next time you go to the Japan Pavilion, you might bow back.
If they bow, yes.
Because they do at the store whenever you buy something.
Oh, I can't.
Because
If they have the international people back, they bow every time you bought something.
Yeah, because they're from Japan, and that's actually how it is. So yeah, I would do it in appreciation of that's exactly how it's supposed to go, and dumb Americans don't know any better. So
I can't wait.
That's how I treat it.
I can't wait to go to Epcot with you because I want to see you do the deeper bow, because that's the thing. You do a deeper bow if you respect them more, type of thing.
No,
so.
that's not how that works. That's called memeing them. I'm not going to meme.
Are you sure? I thought that was like the deeper you bowed, the more you respected them.
No, that doesn't. That's what she said. No, that's not how that works. You can't just like do things more because it means more respect. Like, how that works.
Also, did you see any red light districts in Yakuza while you were there?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I was trying to go to a vegan restaurant. I had directions. It was raining. I got to the restaurant, but I couldn't find the entrance. So I like, okay, so it's around the side. I went down the alley. Oh shit, wrong move. I saw
No shit.
a nice car parked there with a dude smoking a cigarette, and another place across the street with an usher waiting to pull people in. It was like a strip club. And then I saw some other really nice people standing out near the car, and I was like, "Yep, that's not where I need to go." Turned around, went back.
Those are Yakuza. I'm not gonna leave. I'm gonna leave
Probably
here with all my fingers. Yes.
You
When
look
I
lost,
was
boy.
making jokes about. I can't remember who else. Yes, me and Daniel were making jokes about this. Like, Bobby's not gonna come. Bobby's gonna come back in like pieces.
Yeah.
And in Akihabara, I did find the super hentai store, and there's all sorts of warning signs: do not go in if you're 18 or under, or whatever.
Oh, the place I'm
Over
going to
there
stay
it's
far
like
away
16,
from because
I
I'm
think.
not going in there.
So Scott's naturally begging me to go in there. I'm like, I'm not going in there. I have zero reason.
No, I'm not fucking going.
I have zero reason to go in there. Plus, I just don't need to go in there. Apparently, one of my friends took some of their friends in there because whatever. There's a section when you get to a certain spot. There is a spot where females are not allowed to go any further, males only, because it's too disrespectful, apparently.
Jesus.
So, whatever.
Ugh.
Whatever.
Ugh, I say
So
that
that's the
as a
thing.
person who literally just freaking objectifies men more than he does women. So